What would you rate your physique? Does a Kengan fan participate in martial arts?
A 4 out of 10. I don't participate in martial arts, I just kinda work out sometimes.
So by 4 out of 10, he either means slightly obese or slightly malnourished.
Basically, everyone here are mostly sweaty, obese nerds. Most of the people in this server look like this MF.
A lot of you were outraged by me roasting the Kengan community in my last video. I also didn't even realize that Kengan even had fans, and for some reason, these omni-powerful and jacked freaks only crawled out from the depths of the Kengan horde after I posted the video. I thought it was just the Baki fans who got bored and chose to dabble in a bit of Kengan until a new season of Baki came out, but I guess I was wrong because surprisingly, Kengan actually has fans. And since Baki vs Kengan is just over the horizon, I'm gonna do the Kengan community justice this time by really diving into what types of people watch Kengan Ashura.
My heart in for you. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So you have to understand. Now I am gonna come. Vicious, vicious, man. I'm gonna come. The same way I came on the first time, second time, for all my fights, I'm gonna come.
Kengan Ashura is pretty much about a cracked out Thorfinn who, instead of accepting that he has no enemies, Oma the main character just accepted that he has no enemies, but instead of stopping his rampage, he continued it, but this time with a pure heart. Our main character Oma also has Luffy's Gear 2 transformation ability, or he's just unlocking his new Super Saiyan form, but instead of his hair changing colors, his entire body is the thing that changes. Kengan fans will say this is realistic, but I don't know anyone in real life who can produce a red fart cloud mid-battle. Maybe that's why when I interviewed a Kengan fan, he said he couldn't even do some of the moves, probably referring to the time he tried to gouge his opponent's eyes out, but instead ended up in a psych ward for being a little too unhinged. I also encountered a level 100 Kengan fan who sent me over 100 screenshots of the manga to show me that Shen Wulong, a character from Kengan, can defeat Yujiro. I did want to disagree, but I was fearing for my life as this Kengan fan not only looked like an overly jacked kangaroo, but there was also an entire army of them. You know what's worse than a Kengan fan who yaps non-stop? A jacked one who also yaps non-stop. Kengan Ashura has also inspired many of these naturally cracked out teens to pursue martial arts, and I actually interviewed one of these supposed Kengan fans and they don't seem to have a life outside of working out. Looking at the workouts and amount of sets he sent me, it doesn't even seem like he sleeps, though he did actually throw his own community under the bus by saying that Kengan fans indeed are too busy yapping to actually work out. There are exceptions like Fliptech, someone I interviewed from the Kengan community, but like they say themselves, they aren't the average Kengan fan. Instead, I would say that they got past the binge watching and yapping part and instead transcended beyond a Kengan fan and into a Kengan enjoyer. I need to speak with the enemy army and gather information on what an average Kengan fan looks like.
Okay, I'm a Kengan Ashura fan more than I am a Baki fan. I feel like Kengan Ashura is more enjoyable to watch as someone that participates in martial arts. But you wanted to see what an average Kengan fan looks like. I'm definitely not average, but I look nothing like an average Baki fan would look like. This is what I'm looking like. Now, once again, I'm probably not the average Kengan fan. Now, yes, I don't have humongous muscles because my muscles are more toned for fighting.
But that's only for Kengan Ashura. What about Kengan Omega? The plot to Kengan Omega is pretty much about Shen Wulong, who is actually the clone of another Shen Wulong who is actually us.
And turns out in the story that we are all Shen Wulong's incarnation, and the entire world is Shen Wulong, and even your mother is Shen Wulong, and then Shen Wulong turns out to be a god who came down to Earth to hand out ass beatings to other Shen Wulongs.
Pretty much, Kengan Omega makes no sense. I mean, even the fans themselves can't explain it. Kengan Ashura is just about a revenge story for Chad Kengan enjoyers, while Kengan Omega is only for the slightly obese and slightly malnourished fans who do nothing but write biblical novels on a Reddit forum all day. Kengan Ashura has actually inspired a lot of my viewers to follow the art of crackhead fighting, like Fliptech and Cass, who are in my Discord server.
When I was 14 to 15, I watched Kengan all night long, and from that moment onwards, a small spark ignited within me. As I consumed more and more MMA content, my inner crackhead began to bubble up. In high school, I joined the wrestling team, and through one of my coaches, I got connected with his son, in which I gouged his eyes out and left him disabled. Now that I'm older, all I do is watching Kengan Ashura and debate that Oma can solo the entire Baki-verse. I also go outside sometimes, not to touch grass, but to test the new moves I learned from Kengan on some unsuspecting bystanders.
There seems to be two sides of the Kengan community because one side is a mentally sane person and the other takes crack as pre-workout because what the hell is this matchup video? The guy who commented bro's dreaming, bro's drug levels over infinity is correct because the person who made this definitely stored a line and devoured a handful of mushrooms before making this. Shen Wulong, the strongest character in Kengan, is the only one who can stand with the Baki top tiers. The rest though is going to be used as toilet paper by the Baki characters. Even Kengan fans admitted that Baki characters are going to have to be nerfed in the upcoming Kengan vs Baki because Yujiro took on all of the United States, tanked a literal nuke, and stopped an earthquake with his bare hands. I can also see that one of the Kengan fans is ready to test out how delusional they are. I can also already imagine how the match will go because he's either going to encounter another Kengan fan, which is unlikely because these guys are non-existent, or a poor unsuspecting lad is going to step into the ring thinking he's just up against an amateur boxer, not realizing that he's actually a Kengan fan who has been harnessing his crackhead energy for the last 5 months and practicing his ultimate move, eye gouging. Some of you guys live out in the middle of nowhere, so I'm actually having trouble shipping out the 100 kg grippers out to some of you guys because y'all literally live out in the middle of the ocean on an island with a population of 200. I don't even know if there's a company that even ships there, and how did you guys even find my videos? I'm finally dropping the Baki merch with a 20% launch sale, so go check that out.